questions for you.
Sure.
All inquiring minds want to know. 2 of these came from actual students.
Okay, great.
And one of the very specific first ones was for me, because
Okay.
I always, I don't compose. I compose like little things that go with my children's literature lessons and things like that.
Mhm.
But I've never ever composed a full song before. So my question was, what came first? Was it the lyrics of the song, or was it the melody of the song?
I had a feeling you'd ask that question. I thought it might be good to sit in front of the piano too.
Me too, yeah.
I knew I'd written a school song for another school that I was at, but I was only there 2.5 years, and I wrote it my last year, and I don't think it ever really carried on. It was for some of your teachers know, Wicklow Elementary.
Yes.
I don't like 20 years ago. I don't even know if they still do the song. So I knew I was at Lake George for 7 years, and when I spoke with the principal then who hired me, she said she saw on my resume that I had done a school song, and so she said, I would like one. And so I knew that from the beginning of the year.
Right.
And so I would, before the kids would come in, I was getting things set up. I'd kind of practice the lessons for the day and some things that we had. And the first thing that came to me was a little hemiola pattern. And I did it in C because you can do it with Orff instruments and all kinds of things. It's just a really easy key.
Mm-hmm.
And so that part came first.
Awesome.
It was funny. I'd have some kids come in who were 3rd graders and help me. I think from Miss Abalo's class at the time. And we like this song. Surprise, I'm not telling you what it is. And so just throughout the year, I worked on it. And the song, for me, and I'm not a composer either. I don't consider myself a composer.
Right.
Right where, if we have something we're working on and it fits, or every once in a while I'll do something, but I don't consider myself a composer. I've written a couple things like when I was in school that I just really liked and I enjoyed playing, but the music usually comes first. And it's hard to finish it. I'm not really a lyricist, I don't think. So it took a lot of time to finish. I'd say this much time to write the music, it's tweaked, and then this much time to write the lyrics.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at it, and there were some things that I thought about. I thought, boy, that's really low. I'm going to have them do that, and we'll change this. And there are some things about the music that I thought. I noticed that you had Evan Abalo. I saw a video of him practicing his music.
Yeah.
I had them go up, and I thought, oh gosh, because I remember debating that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to go down that low, or do you have them go high? And I actually thought of changing the notes, but it was nice to have it resolved there. And I'm kind of not really speaking for students. I'm kind of speaking for you. So I have to remember I'm talking to all of Lake George.
No, it's fine.
But
they know what I'm talking about. When I first got there and I told them all that I'm like, friends, that goes really low for our K and ones. I was like, so I'd like to, and I just started.
I love that. I love that you did that.
I'm so glad, because
you're the music teacher there now. You do what you need to do. That song is written down, and you're the music teacher, so you teach them that. And if you need to make any accommodations, you do that. Because I remember debating that note, going, gosh, I want it to resolve, but I never even thought of having the kinders and the first sing up an octave. I think that's brilliant.
And it worked out really, it worked out really well, because jammers would then sing it. And I said, you guys go high, and everybody else in the audience, because that's what they remember going low. And so then they just ended up harmonizing with themselves. Yeah.
And it's not straining to the voice. And I do remember thinking about that pitch going, gosh, I want it to resolve, but I thought maybe going to an E, da, 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 and I just didn't think it sounded as nice. So I like how you went up to the high note and then came down.
That's the soprano in me.
That's all right. But so it's the music came first, and I remember tweaking the song all year and just kind of going, I don't really like that. And then towards the end, I was like, I have to teach the chorus. We called them the super singers, but I love jammers. I think that's so great, with the Lake George, with the G and the G, and but so we just kind of worked on it all year and trying to figure it out. This will put in here. And I remember changing some words and thinking, how this fits and what am I going to put here? And I kind of let it roll around. And sometimes it works like that when you're writing a story or you're writing a poem. Sometimes you just need to you need to brainstorm and write what you have and put the chunks in, and then go back and revisit it later and figure, this would sound great. Or sometimes it'd be 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday and you go, oh, this is exactly what I'm going to put there. And you write it down.
I love
And that
that you had all year to just
I
really
did.
hone in on it. That's so wonderful. It
It
wasn't
really
just, hey, I
helped.
need a school song and I need it in 2 weeks. And you're like,
And it wasn't even a frantic thing. It wasn't even like, I just remember it was kind of like advised, oh, I'd love a school song from the
right,
principal. And she pretty much got what she wanted. That
right.
principal there, Dr.
Sure.
Some of your teachers probably remember her. But I remember thinking, I can do that. And so just thinking that I had that end goal in mind, and I thought, well, we'll just kind of put some things here. And it was just a labor of love because Lake George is such a special school. And I was so thrilled to be there. I taught in some other situations where it just wasn't the right fit beforehand. And I remember thinking, gosh, and I went for my interview with the principal, and it was a giraffe, and that was always my favorite animal. I knew it was a perfect fit. And so I was so thrilled to be at Lake George.
That's awesome.
And it was just a labor of love, and it was something that I wanted to give to the students. You know how it is. It's just special.
It is. It's so special. They love it. It is very well loved. And
Oh, I mean, the school, the kids, the families,
yeah,
the community, that is special. So I want to do something special for the students.
the song still fits perfectly, I feel like.
Well, you can feel free to edit any of this out. And I'm also like, people. I'm like, no, I'm talking to people.
Yeah, it's very, I love it.
But feel free to chop anything out if I go, and it's been so long. You know, I started at that school 2003, maybe 2002, 2003. I don't remember, it was 2002, 2003. I believe that's what it was. That's 18 years ago.
No,
so things like a lot, you know, who are there are long gone and in college, working full time. And so anyway, feel free to crop when you need to.
Well, and I'll skip myself, and I was going to save it until last, but so what did you intend the ooze section for? Did you just mean for it to be the ooze? Because now what we're doing is we sing it on ooze, but the jammers play it on recorder.
Yes, that was exactly, and some of my recorder students would do that.
Awesome.
And I would play along. And honestly, I didn't think about having that section it wasn't an intention. It's just, I really liked that hemiola so much that I wanted to put it back into the song.
Okay.
And it just was very organic. It just came in. I thought, we need to have something like Desk Camp Part or something on top of this. And it was voices, but I did have some of my recorder students play that.
Yeah.
And I would play it. It lends itself, because of the key, it lends itself so nicely to students playing along and singing along, playing on recorder.
Yeah. That it shows that an elementary school music teacher wrote it. You know what I mean? It's very in that wheelhouse. You know what I mean? I feel like you just had, we had the audience in mind, you know,
and it wasn't even an intent. It wasn't like, I'm going to do this. It just, like I said, is very organic, and it seemed like a nice break, and anybody can sing the ooze. Yeah. It's very easy to sing that part.
So simple.
And also works on the ooh and reinforces things we want to do with them.
Awesome. Yeah. Love that. So it lends to, you were saying that the lyrics took you, you know, a lot longer than the melody did, but you said that you pulled, was there specific inspiration? Do you remember talking to people about the lyrics?
I didn't really take that approach, and it makes me think of something that I'll have to answer for you later, about knowing that I was going to leave after a while and really wanting that song immersed in the culture. There's so little things that we did before I left, but I had 6 more years to really work that in. And when I was writing the song, I did want to put in the stretch for excellence somewhere. Yeah. I did want to put in, but that was really, I think, it. I wrote down things that I think are important that the students learn, and that we teach students at Lake George Elementary School, and those qualities that I want the children to reinforce and think about, oh, I'm learning about this, and a reminder to do that. So kindness and honesty and trust, and also something that they could take kind of with them, just a model for growing. So it was mainly, what are some qualities that I want to put in here, and not just doing it at school, but things that I can grow into, and as I'm an adult continue to do that. And also with the music, I did have an intention for that, because the first song I wrote was in a very it was a Title I school. It was a really rough neighborhood, and at the time it was really there were some harsh situations that some of the students lived in. So I wanted to be really calming and very, lyrical and slow. And but for the Lake George song, I just felt like it needed to be bouncy and happy and fun. So that, I think, had more of an intention than the lyrics. Like I thought, oh, this sounds, I want it to be something upbeat. I thought, oh, maybe do I want a jungle theme because of the giraffe, and the melody just came to me later. So that's really it as far as planning. But again, like when you're writing a story, or you're writing a poem, or you're planning something, you begin with the end in mind, and then you just write, and you fill in chunks and ideas, and then you pare that down, and you pare that down, and you pare that down. And it really wasn't, like I said, that's just, and it wasn't like, I got to go do the school song. It was like, I'm just going to, it was a creative thing.
Yeah,
just
sure.
At home, whether it's music or art or drawing or running, there's something that you do that just you enjoy, and it's fun, and it relaxes your mind, and it's something that makes you feel good and fulfilled. And so it was just a little fun thing for me to do.
That's awesome. And you said you wanted to take the song and immerse it in the culture. What were some of the things that you did?
I'm trying to think. I remember saying that, but I don't know if that's where I was going with that.
Like, for instance, we always have our fifth graders still sing it at the end of their awards ceremony.
Oh yeah, when I was about to leave.
Yeah.
There are just some things that my first school that I taught at, my last year, I was writing a school song. And I wrote the school song, and I worked on it, and it came out beautifully. The chorus sang it, and then I sang it for the principal and some of the other teachers, and the students all learned it. And then I left, and they never sang it again. And I don't even know still there. And it's like, it was a great little song. And I thought, I don't want that to happen with this song, because I feel like this one is even better.
Right.
And so we would have it on, and the teachers really embraced it too. And people really were like, oh, we love this song. And I really felt like they took ownership with it. And we'd sing it on morning announcements. And that last year, when it looked like I might have to leave, I thought, well, we're just going to do a little, anybody who wants their own copy of the song on a CD, just turn in $1 CD label maker, and just copy after copy. So and it was only $1 just to cover the cost of the software and the CDs. And I just I must have made 500 or 600 of them. And we just, for $1, here's your CD for $1.
Awesome.
But yeah, whatever would be easiest. And so everybody got a copy, and so that they would really, when I wasn't there, they would still sing it. So I wanted
an excellent job. Well, you answered my final question, which was, what is your instrument? So the horn. And did it help inspire the accompaniment? Are hemiolas something? Well, first of all, you say hemiola, and let's explain.
Yeah.
You played it, but a hemiola is basically a note pattern, if you will. On the instrument.
So you've got that beat right there.
Right.
And da 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 da. We talk about that, and you probably do that with your fifth graders. We talk about cross rhythms, West African music, and so, like I said, it was just the horn had no part in it, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's something that you could play along with it.
Sure.
But no, the piano is what I had. It was really, I'd say, what influenced it more. C is easier as well. And I tried keys, but I just thought C sounded bright.
Yeah.
And so, I didn't have stipulations, but I thought C is going to make it easier. having that upbeat tempo is going to make it easier. It was exactly when it's played at the tempo I used to do. It's now I think the last teacher she repeated a phrase in there somewhere, but when I did it, it was exactly 2 minutes, which I thought is just long enough, but not too long. And it just kind of hone and whittle and hone and whittle. And it was like, yeah, that's until I felt like this is it.
That's
And, and I think I even just changed. I mean, who and whom, I was like, grammatically, who or whom or who, and so little things like that I'd work on, but,
sure.
but just, and like I said, I love playing the horn and I love playing brass instruments, but, I really didn't incorporate it into the song in any way because, there's not a band in the
elementary. Right. Exactly.
And, but any instrument that wanted to play along could.
Well, those were all of the questions that I had, and we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to say hi to us. And I know there will be a lot of familiar faces that are very excited about seeing you and seeing the interview. And I know that for many of our students, this will be the first time that they've ever gotten to see a composer, because I know you say I wouldn't really consider myself a composer, but you are. So
and I wish I want to go back on that because all of your students, you guys, I'm trying to figure out where my camera is here.
right.
You all are composers. And I was maybe being modest and thinking, well, it's not what I do. It's not my day job.
Right.
But you are composers. When you create poetry or you create things, you're composing. So whether that's in technology and STEAM, where you're building something with your hands, or you're writing a poem, or you're writing a short story, or a graphic novel, or anything like that, you're creating.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful. And that makes you a composer.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me on. It was so great to talk to you. Miller, and it was so fantastic to get a chance to reach out to the teachers and the staff, and especially those students at Lake George Elementary. And I always consider myself a giraffe. Once you're a giraffe, you're always a giraffe. So stretch for excellence.
Yay. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Bye.